Hello everyone, I am Phoenix Tremaine, and this is my commentary on Divorce Court, Season 20, Episode 1, Flores versus Flores. But first, if you haven't done so, please take a minute to subscribe. If you have subscribed, thank you very much. This is Take 5. Good Lord. Oh, if y'all only knew the comedy errors of trying to do this video. I had a cloth on this table, and I just spilled my tea all over the darn table. So now, that's just one thing. I got a lozenge in my mouth right now because I kept coughing. Good Lord. All I'm trying to do is do my commentary on Divorce Court. Now, some of you may recognize my commentary on the Divorce Court's actual YouTube page. My other YouTube page is called Web Series and Movies. Now, the name of my company and my name is Phoenix Tremaine. So I also had a page, made sure I had a page in my name so that I could have a company YouTube page and I could have my Web Series and Movies webpage. The Web Series and Movies webpage took off. I got over 5,000 subscribers. It's monetized. I have almost 1 million hours of watch time, so that even if people didn't subscribe, they still been watching my page with close to 1 million hours of watch time. But I neglected my Phoenix Tremaine page because I went where the money was. This page is not monetized, so this is just me doing my commentary uncensored, because my monetized page, they'd find any reason to demonetize you. They're still gonna have ads on your channel, but they say, oh, this isn't advertisers. You cursed in this video. Oh, you titled this video. It could be misconstrued as. So here, I'm not making any money doing this, so I'm gonna say what I want. If people's feelings get hurt, oh well. I'm not going to hurt people's feelings on purpose, and I'm not going to be trying to be controversial on purpose. I'm just going to state my opinion. Hopefully you agree with it, and if you don't, and you respectfully disagree, I would love to read you in the comments. Although I know some of you are trolls and you will be very disrespectful, because I get that all the time. But anyway, this is Flores versus Flores. Oh, last thing I'll say is I was inspired to do a commentary series on Divorce Court videos because I'm commenting all the time on the Divorce Court YouTube page, and I got a lot of joy, a good thrill when Divorce Court actually acknowledged my commentary and put a heart and everything. So I was very excited, and I've been commenting for years, so even people that are in the actual videos have responded to things that I've said, usually not in a very nice way, but they responded. And this is all about connections, and just hopefully you might laugh, you may disagree, you may agree, but hopefully by the end of this video you've had a little bit of fun. This wasn't really a fun episode, so I don't know if my commentary will be fun for you, but I will go for informative today. So, Flores versus Flores. I have a bunch of notes. The first note is soulmates. Judge Lynn said that she doesn't believe in soulmates. I think her motto is as she said in other episodes, that, you work hard at a relationship and, people kind of come together and they fall in love and whatever. But she doesn't believe that, this is your soulmate. But I can disagree with that. And say I've been in a relationship for 7 years, and we finish each other's sentences. We're constantly calling each other at the exact same time. When one person is thinking something, the other person is like knowing what they're thinking. So we're on the same playing field, the same. We're like this. So I would consider it soulmate. Doesn't mean things will work out. Life happens. Hopefully, wood knock on. That things do work out. I do pray every day to God that, we stay together and we're happy and things work out for us. And I do that every day, 3 times a day when I pray. So that's me and my take on soulmates. But she's right. You do have to work at it. You can't just like a relationship is work. And once you get lazy and you stop working, the relationship stops working. But I'll talk about it in another video. Okay, so I agree with Judge Lynn on something else. She said he just got out of jail and he was just setting up shop. You know, he needed a warm bed, he needed some sex, and, you know, they had known each other since, I think he said 12 years old. They were in love. And, no, he was setting up shop. You know, he was getting out of jail. He probably burnt a lot of bridges and knew that, you know, he could get with her, you know, may have kept tabs on her or something. But, you know, when a guy's getting out of jail, he has a certain mentality. And one of those mentalities is, for most guys, I can't say for all, is lots and lots of sex, which is why he kept cheating on her. So, you know, the lesson to women is, you know, if you choose to be with a bad boy and you choose to be with somebody who just got out of jail, you got to understand that they are sort of like reestablishing themselves. And after all that time being cooped up with nothing but men, you know, and fantasizing about women and talking about women, you know, he said that one woman came on to him and, you know, she started taking her clothes off and he just couldn't help himself. Well, I don't believe it was that simple that she just basically raped him or something. You know, I don't think that happened. I think that it was a very mutual situation. But if you're a woman that's with a man that just got out of jail, expect it. If it doesn't happen, cool. But yeah, expect it. Don't be surprised about it. Hell, you may want to give him a pass. Say, look, you got 5 passes. After that, monogamy. So, I mean, that's a little extreme, but you gotta, you know, it is what it is. My next note is too young for long-term relationship. Too young. You know, we live in a day and age where people don't necessarily get married at 16 or 18 and then they stay together till death do they part, or in their 50s or 60s or 70s or 80s. You know, we live in a place where people have short attention spans. They are jumping from relationship to relationship, having babies all over the place. So when you decide to be in a relationship and when you decide to have kids with someone, you need to not just have, you know, unprotected sex and be like, okay, if it happens, it happens. You know, you got to actually decide this is what I want to do. And, you know, yeah, a lot of times guys don't want to wear condoms, but, you know, you're going to be stuck with this dude for 20 years or more. So, you know, you may want to go on a pill that makes you sick. You may want an IUD. You may want, you know, what you call it? Not a dental dam. The one you put inside you. Not the IUD, but the little, I know what it looks like. But y'all know what I'm saying. I mean, if you're a woman, you know your different options. So I can't remember the name of it though. There are ways for you to make sure that you don't have a kid with a guy until you're sure that, you know, he's not going to cheat on you. He's not going to, you know, be out in the streets constantly getting locked up, and that you're going to be begging him to be a role model when, one, you know, he's not a role model. He's a drug dealer out in the streets doing what he calls the streets are calling him, you know, and yeah, he's living that lifestyle that's not conducive to raising children. You know, that's a whole nother life. And you're going to have to be ready to deal with the fact that, you know, based on what he was saying, he's probably going to end up back in jail. And the more times he goes back, the longer he's going to stay. And your kids are watching this, they're learning from this. And, you know, next thing you know, the kids are going to be calling your kids. The streets are going to be calling your kids. So, yeah, you set yourself up for this. This is what you asked for. This is what you wanted. You wanted drama? There you go. You got it. Because I know women that love drama. I had one lady I worked with who said that she used to hold back things that she was mad about her husband with, because she liked angry sex. And so, she would suddenly start an argument with something, and then, and he get mad and she get mad, and next thing you know, they screwing. And I'm like, these are the games that she's playing. I'm like, just tell him to, have rough sex with you. Do you really have to like hold stuff in and start and argue with them? And some women like drama, and you've got to learn to think ahead. If you have a specific type of lifestyle you want for your kids, if you have a certain type of family that you want to have, like I knew one girl who only dated drug dealers. That's what she liked. That's what she wanted. That's where she felt the money was. And, if that's the lifestyle she wants for her kids, then there you go. If you want structure and order in your household, and I have the feds come knocking down your door, or you're driving down the street and then all of a sudden you got something in the car, now you're all getting carted to jail, and freaking kids are now in foster care or with other family members. If that's the lifestyle that you want to risk having, by all means, that's the guy you want. So, and people get upset when I say stuff like this because, they feel like you're judging someone. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying, look at statistically how these things end. I was a firefighter paramedic, and so I was a fireman, and then also I had to be a paramedic. So I love being a fireman. I didn't really like being a paramedic, but they rotated you. Sometimes you're you're a fireman in the firehouse, and then sometimes you're the medic as a paramedic. And I've seen so many women, so many mothers, so many sisters out there crying because, he's dead, shot up, stabbed, whatever, and bleeding out in the street. We come up in a medic. We try to save him. Most time we don't. It's not like we didn't try, but like the first guy we ever had in the medic, I think it was my first day on the medic, he was shot 14 times. Okay, we tried to save him. Hell, I was doing chest compressions and blood was shooting out his mouth. It was crazy. I'm doing chest compressions with one hand, holding on with the other hand, and then trying to stabilize myself because also because they're making turns. So then you gotta also was giving him air, going back and forth with giving him air. His lip falling off. He shot 14 times. And we got to the hospital. One of the family members was like, "Is he dead?" We're not supposed to say. So I said, "I don't know. You have to ask the doctor." And, it was like so many people showed up in that hospital when they got word that he was sent to Johns Hopkins. And it was so many people crying, falling out, having a fit, asking why. And that was the first time it happened, but over the course of my career as a fireman, it's happened over and over again. That first day, the doctor came out to me and said, I can't take this. These guys keep coming in every day shot. Okay. And they're dying and nobody's doing anything about it. And, I guess he was, because I'm black, he was like trying to get me to do something, which part of my commentary right now is relaying this to you that, yeah, a lot of times on a medic, we saw a lot of people hurt or killed, and people would, take the drugs out their pockets and take the money out their pockets, whether it was police or gang members. We're taught, step aside, and you're not supposed to fight nobody. You're not supposed to do anything. That's our orders. So they come in, they take the drugs or whatever off of them before the police can get there. And, it is what it is. You ain't trying to get shot, trying to be, stop them. That's not our job. In a fire academy, you're taught it's not your emergency, which sounds horrible until you actually have the job, and then you realize that when you get so emotionally invested in what's going on, you become part of the problem because you can't focus on what you need to do. Your job is to save his life. Your job is not to be a cop. The cops are the cops. You're the firefighter. You're the medic. Do what you're supposed to do. Everything else going around, that's for a court to deal with later on. But anyway, the fact that I personally have seen so many drug dealers shot and killed, I'm just like that doctor. Like, this is what happens. And some people get upset that I'm so matter of fact about it, but I'm like, people are dying, kids are being raised without fathers, households are being broken, because you were out there, because the streets was calling you, which is what the guy was saying. The streets are still calling me. Yeah, so's the graveyard. And so's the jail, and maybe the dick you're getting in jail. Not to say he's getting dick in jail, but who the fuck knows? Because being masculine or even being straight does not mean that you haven't walked in jail, and even if you're the one just getting head, yeah, a lot of shit happens in jail, and it has nothing to do with masculinity. It has everything to do with the environment and your choices and your options. And that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother video. But as a writer, I've actually did a project where I interviewed a lot of people that had went in jail and had been raped or had just participated in jail sex, because I wanted my characters to be authentic. And it's going to be a show that's on my streaming service, United Creators Network, coming out this January. And so you don't know what he's doing in there. And then you're having kids with him. And then things happen, because I have a talk show called The Hard Truth. And one of the ladies on there is an advocate for women, because she's trying to reduce, there's like the population of women with HIV has dramatically increased in the black community. And a lot of it is guys that are DL, trade, did something in jail, and because they don't look gay, they're not feminine, they're not in drag, they're not what you expect to be what gay is, they don't know to get themselves checked out or get him checked out before you go ahead and engage in behavior with somebody who's been in jail. But once again, video for another day, and I would rather her to be a guest on the video so that she can actually give the statistics and the numbers and the women she talked to and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, just keeping it real. I'm just made a lot of people mad, but keeping it real. You can't make a man is my next note. And the reason why I said you can't make a man is he talked about coming from a broken home, not really knowing how to be a father, just doing what he's doing. And she's like desperately saying, I need him there for my children need him there. But the example you're setting for the children is, you need a man in a household. As long as a man is there, you're good. It doesn't matter if he's in and out of jail. It doesn't matter if you don't have a job. It doesn't matter if he's cheating. You just hanging there till the cows come home. That is not a good example for your kids. No. Now, what she should have done was, how Judge Lynn say, where, she say, just watch him, and then you do a little bit and then you watch him some more. When Judge Lynn does that, yeah, that's what she should have been doing. If she wanted to see if this can flourish into something, she should have been in observation mode, seeing that, is this a guy who, because I'm a firm believer in redemption. So just because you go to jail doesn't mean you're a bad person. You may have went in jail for something you didn't do, or you may have felt that selling drugs was the only way for you to get out your situation. And then you realize, okay, this isn't the right thing to do. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to be away from my kids. I don't want to be away from my woman. I don't want to be away from my man, depending on your situation. And you come out, you get a job, you keep a job, you have a plan for what you want to do with your life. That okay, because I mean, even Judge Mathis is a convict, but he had a plan. He went to school. So what are you going to do? Now you're out of jail. What are you going to do? Are you going to go to school? You're going to get a trade? Are you going to be in fast food? If you're going into fast food, you work in McDonald's. What's your plan? You start off as cashier, then you start eyeing that assistant manager position, and then you become manager, and then you become general manager, then you become district manager, and then you save up enough money to have your own franchise. What are you going to do? You got to have a plan on what you're going to do, even if you're on fast food. Are you going to stay there a minimum wage, or do you have aspirations to be the manager and on up, or even working in a fast food restaurant to learn how fast food restaurants work and then have your own? You know what I'm saying? So my mother had 3 grocery stores. So, you can do it if you really want to. One day I'll tell a story about how my mother got her 3 grocery stores, but it was her way of getting out of poverty. Okay. And wrapping it up, even though he came out of jail, she should have left him in a halfway house and seen what he was going to do with his life next. And that's where Judge Lynn says, just watch him. Because being in jail doesn't make you a bad person. What you do when you get out is the most important thing. And then enough time has to pass so that I can see your pattern of what you're doing afterwards. Just like when a person does drugs. If a person is a recovering drug addict and they stay in recovery and they may never go back to it again, if they just got out of rehab on day 1, you don't go, ooh, you're off drugs now, let's date. You go, okay, you're off drugs now let me, see if you relapse. We're going to be friends. I may see where this is going. You ain't coming to my house. You ain't getting no key. You ain't spending the night. I ain't leaving around any valuables, And as life happens, I will see if the things that happen in life cause you to go back into old habits. If you don't, and you have new coping skills, then we can go to the next level and, we can date. You can get a key to my house, but, let's see where, okay, we're going from friendship to dating. Now let's see where things go from there. So, at the end of the episode, they said that they're still living together, but they're living separate lives. Been there, done that. Me and my ex I was with for 6.5 years. We were living in the same house. There was only 2 of us, an 8-bedroom house. And we still had our moments. We still had sex off and on. We were dating other people. But, there were lots of lonely nights where we slipped in and out of each other's beds, or we just had those days where we felt like a couple again, even though technically we were broken up. And I wasn't truly free until I moved out and got my own place and my own apartment. I've been on my own ever since. It's confusing to the kids on what you're doing and what examples you're setting. You got to teach your sons what a woman should and shouldn't tolerate and put up with. Even if you have to start dating another guy, somebody who's financially secure enough to be able to help you out with them three or 4 kids, and because I know they have a daughter too, and give them example of, like, for instance, Sierra. I'm gonna end it with that. Sierra was with Future, who had a bunch of baby mamas, was cheating on her, and she said, no, I'm done. I'm not dealing with this. I'm not letting my son be raised like this. She found Russell Wilson, family man. I don't know how that story will end, if he'll cheat or he'll do anything wrong too. We'll know. Right now, they look like a perfect couple. There's no such thing as perfect. But, he has established that you always see them on family outings, family events. He's showing a great example of fatherhood to the kids, 2 kids he now has with her, along with future son, who he's being a father to. There was situations where all that money Future got, they had situations where in the blogs they were talking about he wasn't paying child support, you know. So you can stick with a Future who got all these baby mamas and doing what he want to do and just living his lifestyle that he's going to live, raise an example he's going to do, or you're going to find yourself a Russell Wilson who is actually interested in being a family man, you know, in being a proper example for your kids, at least for now. We don't know what the future won't show, but yeah. So what you want? Do you want him or do you want him? So if you really want a man to raise your children, you also have to realize you're not dating the person you wish they could be. You're dating the person they are. And so before you have children, or even if the children's here and they just here, you know, if you really want a great example for a father for your kids, you're going to have to do some research, you're going to have to do some dating, and you're going to have to take your time and do it right. Thanks for watching, and I am about to do the next episode of Divorce Court with my commentary. Hopefully, I'll be able to release this commentary 5 days a week. And because I'm already this is episode 45. 45 at the time taping this video. I've got 45 episodes of Divorce Court on my DVR. I'm only on episode 1. So that means 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. I've got 9 weeks of Divorce Court. Well, that first week only had 4 episodes, but I've got about 9 weeks of Divorce Court plus this week, 10 weeks of Divorce Court that is going to be on my DVR. So at least I'll be consistent for 3-4 months, Monday through Friday. There'll be some commentary for you until they go on hiatus. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you. Have a great one. Did I really just have to count 5 times 9 is 45? That was me being slow for a moment. I actually do know my multiplication and fractions and shit. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you. Catch you in the next video. Feel free to argue with me below.